Good, man. Go Rangers. Good time to be in Dallas.
Yeah.
That's right.
Any predictions for the World Series?
Oh, man. Rangers in 5.
Okay.
Rangers in 5, man. Bring on the Phillies are going to get it done tonight, I think. But that's all right. I'd rather beat them than the Diamondbacks anyway. So.
For Preston to have as efficient of a night as he did against Temple, obviously opponent is what it is, but that's got to be a big confidence boost for him.
Yeah, we've been headed that direction, right? One step here, a little bit off here, a little bit inconsistent here, knowing that we're playing pretty good, winning, which is the most important thing. And so, but to have a night like that where kind of things seem to come together, particularly for him, he felt good, honestly. They kind of overcame a little bit of early adversity there. We had the first drive turnover, which was miscommunication more than it was anything, right? And unfortunate deal, but we overcame that. Defense, stood up for us, got us the ball back twice, and then we were able to kind of get rolling from there. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch him continue to develop and go. And we've got 5 more significant conference games here, and if we can get just a little bit better offensively every week, then we hope that we can put ourselves in position to at least be in competition at the end of this thing.
With the offense, obviously expectations were sky high, probably a little too high, especially early in the season with as many pieces. Do you kind of feel like you guys are starting to kind of rise to where that is with Preston getting more comfortable, all the transfers getting more comfortable, new starters getting more comfortable with all that?
Yeah, I think the expectations are what they were. I think there was an early communication. We talked a lot about not putting the pressure on Preston to be the guy that had to be the winner. You know what I mean? There was this heaped amount of expectation on what was going to be our offense that was, was it founded or not? We knew what our goals were. We do know the talent level, obviously, that we have in that room, and being able to bring those guys together from a bunch of different backgrounds, overcome some of the early adversities that we had. We had 2 really tough road Big 12 opponents that we had to overcome those games, and again, just kind of incrementally getting better every week. I think that, I know I mentioned this kind of weekly. I know it's a little bit broken record here, but the fact that we played extremely hard. The fact that we kind of regained some of that physicality and we've really played a physical season. We've really taken care of the ball. Even the turnover the other night was on me more than it was anything, right? And so we've taken care of the ball. We valued those things. I think that in an offense that we knew early, and this is kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because of the amount of talent that we have, being able to play everybody that deserves to play is a good thing, but it kind of puts you in, right now, I don't know that we have an individual leader in any of our offensive categories in the league. You know what I mean? They're top, I think our leading receiver's like 23rd or something. You know what I mean? So there is a great distribution of the ball going on that we've talked about even since week 1, but to have the amount of people play that we have, and there's some high profileness with that, but they've played well, they've continued to come together, we've continued to improve our offense in a weekly setting, and certainly we've got to take another step this weekend. There's still things that we got to clean up that, that we don't feel great about. But it's fun to see it all come together. It's fun to feel like for the first time, I think that we felt Friday night like all phases of the game kind of came together the way that we wanted to. We played in the first half the way we wanted to play in the second half, the way we wanted to finish the game. Everyone that was on the trip got to play. It was, those are games that, man, you can sit back and feel the reward of your work. Now you can't hang out there, right? You got to move forward, but it was a fun Friday night.
With Jordan Hudson kind of continuing to churn, is that what you guys want to see to continue to see him grow and obviously maybe take more of that load on? Same kind of Jordan Curley, because Rob after the game said didn't really have any starters this week, kind of challenged the guys to step up, and maybe that kind of helps.
Yeah, Coach Likens done a great job at that now. He went there and told him last week, he said, whoever wins the practice this week gets to start. And so that's good to see. Obviously, you want to see your best players succeed, right? And if your best players are playing at their best, then your whole offense operates better. Both the Jordans get, living up to their fullest potential, pushes somebody like Romello Brinson to have a breakout game and do some good things, and it's just that competition generated through the course of the the week, helps with that. Moochie Dixon goes down on the kickoff coverage, and now we got other guys that can step in and play. And that's been a unique challenge in that room all year, with 7 guys that are deserving to play and capable of making plays. And we've done a great job distributing the ball, I think. But certainly, anytime your best players are playing at their best, it helps your offense go. And we want to make sure that the guys that are practicing the best, right? Because we feel like we got 7 able-bodied guys, but the guys that are practicing the best are the guys that get the opportunity to start and lead us out there on Saturday, in this case. So it's been a long time since I've said Saturday, but
kind of in the same vein, the offensive line, you kind of got 7, 8, 9 guys. You've been able to rotate them. Obviously, there's been some banged up guys and everything, but how important is maybe keeping all 9 of them fresh in the rotation, so if somebody goes down, it's not taking somebody who hasn't played all season and throwing them in there? And just kind of what have you seen from those 7, 8, 9 as a whole?
Yeah, Coach Lash and I were actually talking about that this morning. I think that there is a variable of consistency that sometimes, it's not, frustration's not the right word, but the consistency level, right, that we've talked about all season. Like, all right, when do we get to this point? How do we feel like we know who's out there, what we're going to do, how we're going to execute? But on the flip side of that, I think that for sure this season, but I think, in spring and moving forward, that like guys like PJ Williams that have banked all these reps, that even though he's not playing bad, he's not playing the best he's ever going to play. But in order to get to that point, being able to bank reps right now with guys like that gives you depth moving into, a difficult stretch of our schedule coming up here, and making sure that we've got confidence in a number of different guys that we're putting in the game.
What have you seen from Tulsa on defense?
Tulsa has got a physical defense. They do a nice job. I think they're really well coached. They tackle well. They've had a lot of turnover since last year. We see some of the same 4 or 5 guys that were floating around on a pretty good defense. Obviously, they've radically changed their system, so they're playing a different system now than the last time we saw them. But they've played good. They kind of had the hiccup there Friday night where the game got out of hand on them late. But they are a physical team. They do. Provide you different looks pretty sound. I think that they're kind of a multi-front team that plays similar coverages behind it, but gives you different presentations, can frustrate your protections and occupy backs and do things like that you got to make sure that you can account for. I think that with some of the movement things and the pressures that they do, that they can challenge your run game. You'll see a -1, 2, 0-yard gain, and then there will be a 13-yard gain or something, so you gotta, they'll create some frustrations, I think, in the run game from the standpoint that we just gotta stick with it, early on, when you're not having the exact success that you want to from a gash standpoint, like a static defense like Temple was playing, where where they're gonna be. And so when we started hitting it, then we felt like we were gaining the yards we're going to. It won't be that clean this week. So we've done a great job. I thought today we got a bunch of crossover work with our defense, getting some of their pressure looks to make sure that we can fit up some of those things a little bit better.
And just how big, obviously Temple's defense isn't Oklahoma and TCU. Tulsa's defense won't be those guys, but that you don't play down to that you guys kind of do what you did on Friday night, that you take advantage of that you find the weakness in there and exploit it until they finally have to adjust, or you just keep scoring on it.
Yeah. The challenge, like we said, is to get a little bit better every week. And we said that a couple weeks ago, man, if we can just keep improving and keep improving and keep improving. And, we had frustrations on offense coming off an East Carolina 21-point road victory, and we thought we took a step in the right direction this week. We got to continue to take a step in the right direction. And we got great respect for our opponents, this year. And so this is the conference we're playing in. This is the conference we're trying to win. A conference that, we hadn't won a conference in 40 years. So have an opportunity to take a step in that direction and make sure these guys stay focused on the opponent that's at hand, this week being Tulsa, and then we'll move on down our schedule from there. But but yeah, we got to continue to improve, a little bit incrementally every week. So.
And then I'm sure this is a question for Preston and his mentality going into it. Obviously, it was against Tulsa that he got hurt last year. Is that something you as a coaching staff bring up to not worry about, not think about, or is it best to just not really say anything about it?
Yeah, those are the ebbs and flows of the season. I don't know that it wasn't catastrophic. He didn't get his car stolen outside the stadium. You know what I mean? I don't think it's like a revenge game or anything like that. They've had a staff turnover. They've had a bunch of player turnover. So I don't know that that's something that he can spend time focusing on. I think that he took the right approach this week. He took the right approach practicing today, and he's continuing to lead our team and continuing to develop. And it's exciting to watch him grow. And we'll continue to send him after the Golden Hurricane here.